Hi, I'm Tony Fleming, and welcome to Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on today's video. 1964, man, what was going on in the 60s, right? A lot of cool stuff. This car was one of those things that happened, and some cars have a lot more equipment and a lot more features and a lot more interesting things than others, and you say to yourself, well, who's going to show me all that stuff? Well, you know what? I'm going to find somebody to do that. It won't be me because I don't know anything about cars, but when I do find somebody, you're going to be the first to know. Let's talk about this car, though, the little bit that I do know. Wimbledon white paint and red leather interior is the hottest selling color right now combination in the United States. We're doing this video almost 2020, right? It's the hottest combination in 2020 for new cars. 64, this car was so ahead of its time. When we watch the convertible top do its ballet magic, latch itself, fold itself up, and including the tonneau cover that comes up, it is one of the most beautiful sights you've ever seen. You'll sit in your garage and you'll just put the top up and down just to see it. It's amazing, amazing. So we've got good history on this car. We know good about the restoration. We know how long it's been, and it has a low mileage history, a low mileage title on it. It's showing less than driven 1,000 miles a year over the time, which is pretty amazing. And the car runs and drives just like it seems anyone should with that kind of mileage. So let's talk a little bit about the quality of paint. We'll come up here. We'll look at that for a second right now. And in white, sometimes it's a little bit tough. All right, let's take a peek under here because really, some people buy a car like this to take to shows. Some people don't care at all. Some people like to sit in their garage and just look at it. This is the kind of car you can take to a car show because people are so interested in the style of these cars. For instance, the detail of the engine compartment. The block is painted the correct black like it's supposed to be. The gold paint for the valve covers and air cleaner give this big pop and this big muscular feeling to a car like this. And then the detail stuff in here. You have your washer bag. This does have power steering and power brakes. All kinds of things that we forget about in a lot of these older cars didn't come with, right? Makes it much easier to drive this car and take it to a long cruise, or maybe you want to go to the beach in the car, or take another couple out to dinner, or take the kids out in it. It is an awesome experience. Anyway, things like Ford hoses and the correct tower clamps. It's like this little detail stuff in here. You say, well, Tone, what do I care about clamps? You're right. Clamps will not decide the level of a restoration of the car, but what it does is it gives you a hint as to how much effort's been put into it. You may say, well, it's just a clamp. You're right, but this clamp right here is 10 times the price of a standard clamp. This hose, 4 times the price of a regular hose. And all of those shortcuts are the difference between a beautiful restoration that drives well, runs well, and you can enjoy, versus a cheap priced, I put some spray wax on it, and now I'm sending it to you. Anyway, one of the things I like to talk about sometimes is when people say, wow, that's a great looking car, but they never really know why it's a great looking car. Let's talk about a few things. First off, the style of this car. It was still sporty. It's a big engine in it, right? The hood scoop in the front, but you add in little touches like real wire wheels. These are expensive. These are not wheel covers. They're not knockoff replicas. These are real triple chrome plated wheels with period correct red line tires on it. So this wheel and tire combination right now, you can price this up yourself, is somewhere around $2,500 just for this. And that's one of the reasons why it looks so good compared to a car with wheel covers, the stainless wheel covers, or just the fake wire wheels. And then you throw in the pinstripe, this body line. You can also remove this right here. This fender skirt, right, changes the whole look of the car. So this removed, and with this sporty tonneau cover on there, you can have 2 or 3 different looks for this car. It's a great looking car, especially as you adjust the little pieces to it. Anyway, I just wanted a quick overview of this. So when we talked about a couple of different views that you could have here, this right here adds the coupe look, the roadster package they call this, right? Which gives you the 2-seater look of the previous first generation cars. The problem with the first generation cars is they were really, really small inside and tough to get in and out of, all right? Not to mention taking friends out or another couple or something like that. This gives you the best of both worlds. We're going to take a quick peek at this on. It'll take me just a second to unlatch it, take it off, and then I'll show you what the whole interior looks like with it off so you can see what that looks like too. And then I want to show you the detail inside where the convertible top is. And for a completely different look, you take this on or off. It's so easy. It weighs nothing, super light, and we keep it on a little rack. You just go ahead and put it right in the corner of the garage, and you're good to go. All right, so I want you to check this out real quick. One of the things I like to try to show is when you can really utilize the back seat of a car. I'm 6'1". This back seat not only gives me some room, and I have the seat slid back as well, but not only gives me some room, okay, but I got some room everywhere. So again, I talk about enjoying these cars. Imagine going to dinner or going out with the kids somewhere or another couple or what have you. This is a complete changer for the whole evening, and it's really, really a lot of fun. All right, let's not minimize the things about this car. First off, many cars had flat door panels with a handle bolted onto the side. This car was very expensive, one of the most expensive Fords produced during its time for a reason. For instance, look at the molded panels in here. The nice details of this. This I love still because you have, look at that, man. I almost am thinking about taking up smoking just so I can use the vent window. Okay, I was just kidding. Anyway, this has the tilt-away steering column. So check this out. So I get in, right, put it right into place, and off I go. It makes it so easy to get in and out of the car. Again, detail stuff that we overlook. Like look at the pulls for windshield wipers and washers, and for the left and right air. Okay, this was ahead of its time. Today we have climate control in your daily driver for both sides. Look at this here. 1964, we had that available. And this dash and this interior is awesome, especially the way the speedometer runs all the way across. Gauges for everything here, and this beautiful flowing console. Somebody's put a lot of time and effort into the design of it, right? You got all this detail here. In case you want to take up smoking, is right in here. I talk about that a lot, but I don't recommend taking off smoking. And then you have the original AM/FM radio in this car. Again, another nice feature. A lot of cars don't have that stuff, but if you wanted to, I would leave this here and maybe ask us to hide an AM/FM stereo system somewhere, which we could do. That way you'd have, you know, your digital music and things like that, but keeping the cool dash all stock. So I want to show the beautiful ballet of the top and the way it works and how gorgeous it does. Again, we're not running the car in the middle of the showroom, so it's a little bit slower than when it would normally do, but check this out. That was cool. All right, so part of the details wrapped up in the restored cylinders, all of the parts painted properly, everything's not black, you know, all new wiring. You can see the cabling system here that runs these latches, the motor for lifting the tonneau cover piece, all of that's detailed as well. The paint's all nice, buffed underneath here. If you went to a car show, man, this is really what you want to show off. All right, so we closed up the video. We looked at an excellent restoration. The paint on this car is beautiful. Then we look at some things that make it a lot more expensive than some of the others here. We're talking about the wire wheels with red line tires, matching the red interior with the pinstripe on the side. That adds so much to the look. This right here is not a vinyl top, by the way. This is a canvas top. It's a lot more expensive than vinyl. I only say that because it gives you an idea that when they restored this car, they spent the money they needed to do that. For the correct tower clamps that are on there, to the Ford hoses that are on there, all of that stuff is nice. And you get in this car, it's got a nice rumble, the 390 V8, got tons of power, tons of torque. And again, I talked about the experience. The experience of riding in this car by yourself is great, but the truth of the matter is you go out with another couple, take the kids out, whatever, go with some friends, man, it is a game changer. It makes me smile just talking about it. Anyway, call us, 301-816-1000. We'll tell you all about this 64 T-Bird. Hopefully you like this video. Make sure you click on that for a little bit of this. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell. We'll get it right out there. And don't forget to leave your comments, man. I'd love to hear you riding around in a car like this, circa 1970s, 80s, 90s. Maybe you rode around with your parents. Maybe you owned one in the past. We'd love to chatter about that online. Thanks so much.
Thunderbird 64. Thunderbird 64. Thunderbird 64. Introducing a new Thunderbird. So different. So beautifully different. Never before an interior so beautiful. In the rear, a new cove seat. In the front, new, more comfortable shell design seats, and you can get a reclining passenger seat. New flight deck controls and sweep-around console create a functional cockpit for your commands. Optional warning lights tell you when a door is ajar, when you need fuel, and when all your exterior blinker lights are on. There's also a swing-away steering wheel, a light that reminds you to fasten the retractable seatbelt, and an optional switch locks both doors at a flick. And even with all windows closed, Thunderbird 64's new silent flow ventilating system provides a constant change of refreshing air. So different. So beautifully different. Thunderbird 64 takes off where others leave off. Unique in all the world, Thunderbird 64 is coming your way next Friday at your Ford dealers.